Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us for the semester finale of Gametime Situation.
I'm Chip Whipple. This is Brian Vale.
We have a huge show set up for you tonight as we have playoff action, season debuts, and a monster upset to tell you about.
That's right. We also have another AU athlete under the bright light of the Gametime spotlight.
We'll also have coaches from around the country calling in to plead their case for playing in the national title game.
Actually, I don't think we will.
Oh, okay then. Well, we'd better get started. It's game time. Ooh. The Eagle football team finished the regular season 8-1, good enough to qualify for the Division II playoffs for just the third time in school history. As the fifth seed in the Northwest region, AU is matched up with Central Washington in the first round. The game in Ellensburg saw the two teams trade turnovers early, but Ashland got good field position off a CWU fumble, setting up a short scoring drive. Senior John Schroeder scored from 2 yards out to give Ashland a 7-0 lead in the first quarter. The TD tied Schroeder for the school record for rushing touchdowns in a season. Central hit a field goal on their next drive, making it 7-3, and the Eagle offense was stopped on their next drive, forcing Derek Riedel to punt. The attempt was blocked, however, and the Wildcats scooped up the loose ball and ran in for a score, taking a 10-7 lead. Billy Cundiff would not let that stop the Eagles, though, as he engineered a scoring drive to put AU back ahead. He connected with senior Brandon Gilmore for a 22-yard TD late in the first quarter to give Ashland a 4-point advantage. Central scored to regain the lead, but DeJuan Harvey answered, sprinting in from 42 yards out on the ensuing drive, making it 21-17 Eagles. Mike Riley and the Wildcats responded again, however, scoring on their next drive to go up 24-21. And neither team could put up any more points in the final minutes of the first half, so Central went into the locker room with a slim 3-point lead. AU then hit a wall. The long trip, I don't know what it was, something happened. The offense could not put together a drive, and CWU scored another touchdown to make it a 9-point game. Late in the third, Cundiff got the Eagles going with a drive that ended with a 30-yard field goal by Mike Belcito. The Wildcats then hit a field goal of their own, going up 33-24. Another defensive stop by the Wildcats meant the end for AU as Riley led another late TD drive, going up 40-24 in the fourth. That was the final as the Eagles lost their third straight playoff game. AU outgained Central 435-428, but a missed field goal, a blocked punt, and 2 turnovers by Ashland gave the Wildcats all they needed to win. Quarterback Cundiff was 13 of 34 for 141 yards. Harvey carried 16 times for 115 yards, and Jamon Javey had 18 rushes for 96 yards. The loss ended Ashland's season as they went 8-2 in 2007. Central advanced to the regional final of the playoffs before falling to, guess who?
Grand Valley State.
41-21 this past weekend. Chipper, the football team was not the only fall team on campus to advance to the postseason. Tell us about the other Eagle playoff squad.
Well, the volleyball team competed in the NCAA playoffs held at, where else, Grand Valley State on November 15th. The Eagles went into the tournament as the number 7 seed and opened up against the second-ranked team in the region, Lewis. Ashland took early command of the match, winning the first 2 games, 30-21 and 30-24. This was about the time things started to fall apart for the Eagles. Lewis took an early lead in the third game and ended up hanging on by a score of 30-27. Ashland fought back in the fourth, taking a 22-18 advantage when Lewis called a timeout to talk things over. The timeout worked as Lewis went on a run and ended up forcing a 5th game by winning the fourth, 30-26. The Eagles just could not bounce back from the Game 4 loss as they dropped the 5th and deciding game, 15-10. Senior Mary Kate Glow led the Eagles with a match-high 24 kills and added 23 digs. Sophomores Amanda Stefanski and Brittany Yurchenko each tallied 13 kills of their own. Senior Lindsey Warren ended the match with 59 assists. The dramatic loss ended the season for the Eagles as they finished with an overall record of 26-6. The loss also ended the careers of Warren and Glow, who both set records in their time at Ashland. Glow finished as the Eagles' record holder in kills with 2,136, total attacks with 6,276, and digs with 1,969. Warren finished her career as the Eagles' record holder in assists with 5,610. That's a lot.
Indeed.
Lewis went on to lose to Grand Valley State in the regional finals.
They're good in regional finals. The men's basketball team here played their GLIAC opener Saturday at Cates Gymnasium. The opponent, in-state rival Findlay, also the fourth-ranked team in Division II. The Oilers beat Ohio State in an exhibition game prior this season. AU had not beaten Findlay since 2002, so with all this going against them, Coach Roger Lyons, a coach known for emphasizing solid man-to-man defense, put in several zone looks to confuse the Oiler offense, and in the early going, it worked. The Eagles jumped out to a quick 5-0 lead and held a lead for the first 5 minutes of the game. Findlay stayed in the game, but AU freshman Cale Richardson had an answer to keep the Eagles ahead. The center poured in 24 first-half points as Ashland took a 40-39 lead into the break. The first 20 minutes saw 16 lead changes. Findlay hit 6 3-pointers and had an 11-0 edge in transition points as well. The advantage was due in large part to the play of Oilers' Marcus Parker and Morgan Lewis, who connected for 3 alley-oops. Despite the 1-point lead, it seemed only a matter of time before the Oilers made a run to separate from the Eagles. Chip, could AU hang around for the duration?
Coming out of the halftime break, the Eagles were holding that one slim point advantage over the Findlay Oilers. The second half would remain just as exciting as the first, as the two teams would never be separated by more than 6 points. With 10 minutes and 6 seconds remaining in the game, Coach Roger Lyons received a technical foul for being too far outside the coaching box, a rule being more strongly enforced by the NCAA this year. After the made free throws, the Oilers stretched their lead to 6 and appeared they would pull away for the victory. The Eagles, on the other hand, had other ideas. Brett Wackerly told his teammates to jump on his back as he hit 3 consecutive three-pointers for the Eagles to gain a 4-point advantage. Findlay would chip away at the lead again and eventually take a 1-point lead. The Oilers then made a critical mistake fouling Brett Bartlett on a 3-point shot, and he calmly went to the line and sank all 3. These free throws started the 11 consecutive free throws made by Ashland to end the game. With 13 seconds to play, Eagles held a 3-point advantage, but Findlay controlled the ball. The Oilers pushed the ball up the court, hoping to find a tying 3-pointer. Findlay's Morgan Lewis attempted a deep 3-pointer that missed the basket wide left, but his teammate Tyler Evan retrieved the ball and hoisted up a 3 right before the buzzer went off. But if you watch the game here on TV too, our own Brendan Bittner let it be known to Ashland and the world that the 3 missed as well. After the last missed shot hit the floor, students rushed the court, and Coach Roger Lyons could be seen jumping up in the air. It was the first victory for Ashland over Findlay since 2002, and first victory over a top 4 team since the 1998-99 season. Cale Richardson led the Eagles with 28 points, 24 of those coming in the first half. Wackerly added another 18 points, including 4 3-pointers. The win improved the Eagles to 3-3 on the season and 1-0 in the GLIAC. We'll have more on how the Eagles got to this record later on in the show.
Whew! That wore me out. Big win for the Eagles. Congratulations to the
was.
coaches and players there on a huge win.
Well, we'll take a little break. You can go get a drink of water, and we can return and talk about how the women's team has been faring this season.
Sounds good to me. We'll be back with the story on the Lady Eagles and have one of them right here on the Game Time Spotlight right after this.
My name's Andy McDonald. I ride this useless wooden toy for a living. It's hard. I've been doing it for 13 years. I'm still lame. I do a trick called a 540. Took me a good 6 years to learn. There's a whole generation of skateboarders out there that are just as talented athletically as any basketball or football player. It takes somebody that's not going to be afraid to fall down a lot, because you definitely will fall down. You're not a failure until you refuse to get back up. Drugs are only going to hinder what I'm trying to do. That right there is my idea of getting high.
Hi, Mr. President. My parents believe that eating meals together will make our country strong. Is this something that you did when you were a kid?
I did eat with my family so long as my mother wasn't cooking.
It's not good making fun of your mother, even if you are president, but it is good to have dinner with your kids. We know the more often children have dinner with their families, the less likely they are to smoke, drink, and use drugs. So simply having dinner together can help your children forever, even if you're not a great cook.
Kids, how do we take care of our teeth?
Brush your teeth twice a day. Floss your teeth once a day. If you want healthy teeth, do this every day. Brush your teeth.
Fight tooth decay.
Floss your teeth.
Don't forget regular dental checkups, okay?
Brush your teeth twice a day. Floss your teeth once a day.
You're a good driver, a careful driver, and you don't stand a chance. Not at a railroad crossing with bad sight lines and no lights or gates, where vegetation, buildings, or hills block your view, where you can't see the train and you only have seconds before it hits your safe, careful self and you die. Go to angelsontrack.org to report dangerous crossings, because careful is just no match for a 200-ton locomotive.
The women's basketball team here at Ashland has also been busy early this season as they tipped off their season at the GLVC GLIAC Classic in Indianapolis November 16th. AU beat St. Joseph's in the season opener 98-46 as 5 Eagles scored in double figures and the team shot 56% from the floor. Against the host Indy the next day, Ashland took a tough loss 65-62. Junior Jessica Minch scored 13 points and grabbed 12 rebounds as the Eagles shot just 33% from the field in the loss. A few days later, the Lady Eagles came home for their opener at Cates Gym, and facing Lake Erie, AU controlled throughout in a 95-62 win. Minch scored a career-high 23 and also had 9 rebounds. The Eagles then hosted the AU Thanksgiving Classic that weekend, facing Alderson Broadus in the event's first game. Ashland again had their way, winning 89-58 as freshman Rachel Portman came off the bench to lead the team with 15 points. In the last game of the event, Ashland matched up with Shepherd. The Rams stayed in the game, taking a 41-39 lead into the half. The contest stayed close in the second half as neither team could pull away. Both teams made runs to prevent separation, and the game was still in doubt in the final few minutes. Trailing 88-83 with under 2 minutes left, Shepherd got fouled on a made layup and then hit the free throw to make it a 2-point game. AU missed the jumper on their next possession, and after calling a timeout, the Rams hit a wide-open layup with 5 seconds to go to tie the game at 88. Alethea Lamberson, the Eagles' junior point guard, took the inbounds pass and sprinted down court, pulling up from 25 feet and hitting a three with 0.2 seconds to go. The 91-88 win gave AU their third straight victory, and Lamberson played all 40 minutes, scoring 20 points, dishing out 7 assists, grabbing 6 rebounds, and making 4 steals in a LeBron-like performance. Lisa Grau also had 20 points for the Eagles. Ashland had 2 more home games last weekend, Chip. How did they go?
I'm glad you asked, Vale. The women hosted West Liberty State College last Thursday in a matchup between 2 pretty good teams as West Liberty came in undefeated. It appeared the Eagles were up to the challenge as they took a 41-39 halftime lead, but the Toppers would fight back and end up winning the game by a score of 86-76, outscoring Ashland by 12 points in the second half. Betsy Morrison led the Eagles with 17 points. Ashland could not overcome their 42% shooting from the field while they let the Toppers shoot an incredible 56.5%. The Eagles did not have time to sulk in defeat as they hosted Findlay this past Saturday. Though it has been overshadowed by the men's victory, the women also opened up GLIAC play this weekend. Ashland looked to have complete control of the game early in the first half and ended the half with a 10-point lead. The Oilers did not let up and fought back and crept within 3 in the second half. Strong play from Lamberson, including a nifty drive and layup from underneath the hoop, lifted the Eagles to a 71-58 victory. Lamberson finished the game with 14 points and 4 assists in 38 minutes. She got 2 minutes off in this game. Minch continued her stellar play this season, adding 23 points and 7 rebounds. The win improved Ashland to 5-2 overall and 1-0 in the GLIAC. The Eagles will next travel to Hillsdale tomorrow night for a 6 p.m. tip-off. Hillsdale is unbeaten this season, so the Chargers should prove to be a tough opponent. Hillsdale is led by forward Katie Kezat, who is averaging 20 points a game this season. Kezat will provide a good matchup for AU's Betsy Morrison, but how does Morrison stack up against the Noodle and the Game Time Spotlight?
Thanks, guys. I'm Andy Seifert here with AU basketball player Betsy Morrison on the Game Time Spotlight. Betsy, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Are you ready for the Game Time Spotlight?
I am.
All right, let's do it. The team is off to a 5-2 start, and how has the team been so successful in the early going of the season?
I think a lot of it has to do with we play well together as a team. We've been able to play most of our team. We have 14 people, and I think everybody's seen game time, everybody's scored, and it just seems like everybody's contributing.
Oh, great. And the team will play 10 of their next 12 games on the road, and how do you prepare for a stretch like that?
It's difficult knowing that you're going to be on the road a lot, but we have a pretty good support system, and our parents, they travel with us a lot, and so that helps. It's difficult playing in different gyms, but luckily that span does run the course of, I think, about 6 weeks, so it won't seem like we're gone too much because we'll at least get to come back to Ashland and practice and be comfortable in our own gym.
And you are the captain of this year's team, so what do you try to bring to that role on the team?
I just try and stay positive and make sure that everybody is doing what they need to do on the court. Like if someone gets down or if something's not going right in a game, that's when we have to step in as captains. I have 2 other co-captains, and that's when we have to step in and get people focused and make sure that they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah, being a strong leader, of course, that's very important. And you've played here since arriving as a freshman in 2005. And how do you think your game has evolved since then?
I've definitely been looking to score and be more of a contributor to the team. Up until now, I've been more of a role player, just doing whatever needs to be done in each game. And now I think the coaching staff and the rest of my team is looking at me to pull more of the scoring load, and I have to show up every game now. It's not an option to not show up, but I mean, it's like that for everyone. So.
Right. And the team has begun conference play, and so what are your goals for the GLIAC schedule?
We definitely want to win the South. There's 6 teams in the South, and last year we didn't even get to qualify for the conference tournament, so that's another goal, is to get back to the conference tournament. 2 years ago we played in the championship game, and then last year we didn't even qualify, so we want to get back to the top of the South and get back in that conference championship game and at least give us a chance to win.
And what are your personal goals for the rest of the season?
My personal goals are just to continue doing whatever my team needs to do and make sure that the team's successful.
Oh, that sounds good. And lastly, what do you think of our cool Christmas tree here?
I think it's very festive.
Oh, well, thank you very much. All right, Betsy, you are now off the Game Time spotlight, and thank you very much for coming on. And we'll be back with more Game Time Situation right after this.
And now, another fact of Congress. Like a tree, our national government has 3 branches. First, there is the President of the United States, called the Executive Branch. The President is like your school principal. He makes important policy decisions on things like the environment and health care. He's also the Commander-in-Chief of the military. A second branch is Congress, called the Legislative Branch. The main job of the legislative branch is to debate and pass laws. They also oversee the activities of the president. Finally, there is the court system, or the judicial branch. Sometimes people disagree about what laws mean, so we ask judges to help us decide. The Supreme Court is the ultimate judge of the land. These 3 branches of government work together to form a complete system. And that's another fact of Congress.
Ashland Theological Seminary, transforming the world.
One pastor.
One counselor.
One city.
One campus.
One village.
One family.
One teacher.
One crisis. One missionary.
One shelter.
One church. Transforming the world, one student at a time.
As parents, we do whatever is necessary to ensure the health of our children. Sadly, most parents don't realize that their child's first eye exam with an eye doctor should be between the age of 6 and 12 months. I urge you to take your baby to an optometrist for a comprehensive eye assessment. It can literally change your child's vision of the future.
Infancy optometrists offer a no-charge eye assessment for infants 12 months old or younger. Call today to find an optometrist near you.
And we're back. We talked earlier about the exciting men's basketball game against Findlay this past weekend, but now we're going to take a little time and inform you on how they got there.
It's not as exciting, but it's still good stuff.
The Eagles opened up the season hosting Tiffin on November 15th. Ashland handled the Dragons by a score of 111-59.
I told you.
Senior Steve Gansey led the Eagles with 16 points, going 4 of 8 from the three-point line. Not seen in a lot of games this season for Ashland, but the Eagles' bench contributed mightily, outscoring Tiffin's bench 53-16. Ashland traveled to Mount Vernon Nazarene on the 17th and lost their first game of the season by a score of 90-82. 3 Eagles scored 17 points apiece, but it was not enough as Mount Vernon shot an outstanding 50% from the three-point line in the game. Ashland returned home on the 20th, hoping to heal their wounds against a tough St. Joseph's team. Unfortunately, the Eagles lost their second consecutive game, losing 95-70. Senior Brett Bartlett led the Eagles with 17 points, with Brett Wackerly adding 16 points of his own. Over the Thanksgiving break, the Eagles remained active, traveling to Florida to participate in the Florida Southern Classic.
The men had to take on the hosts in their first game, and Florida Southern did not show much hospitality as the Eagles fell 95-70. The Moccasins shot 62% from the floor in the first half, jumping out to a 58-33 lead at the break. Ashland shot just 40% from the floor in the game as freshman Cale Richardson led the way with 15 points. Steve Gansey hit 4 3-pointers to score 14 points. Brett Bartlett was just 3 for 13 from the field as he was held to 8 points in the loss. 7 Mocks scored in double figures as Southern hit 12 first-half threes. But that's just something that the fans and media worry about, the big scoreboards. That's not for the players. The next day, AU faced Puerto Rico Mayaguez, and after a close first half, Ashland dominated in the second 20 minutes, winning 104-70.
That's a little exciting.
Bartlett and Richardson both scored 22 points as Bartlett added 8 assists. Brett Wackerly had 19 points, while Gansey hit 4 more threes to score 17. AU shot 61% from the field in the game, connecting on 14 threes. Ashland took a few days off to prepare for the Findlay game, which, as we discussed earlier, went well for the Eagles.
That's a bit of an understatement.
Now 3-3, AU will travel to Hillsdale tomorrow to begin their road GLIAC schedule.
We're going to switch to the mat, and the wrestling team opened up their regular season way back on November 17th, hosting the 15th annual Harris Auto Center Open. The team came into the event being the 12th ranked team in Division II. Over 300 wrestlers competed in the event, and 3 Eagles captured first place honors. Brandon Davis won at the 125 weight class, Jacob Bartley took home the trophy at 133, and Muhammad Abdul Rahman claimed first at 157. Ashland also had 2 second-place finishers with Kyle Kananga at 141 and Josh Ohl at 197. Ashland hosted another invitational this past weekend. Tell us how that went, Brian.
Gladly, Chip. The Grapplers hosted the Simonson Invitational at Conard Fieldhouse last weekend, taking second place in the event. Mercyhurst won the 18 competition as AU's Justin Ferguson at 184 pounds and Josh Ohl at 197 won in their weight classes. Kyle Kanaga, Marcus Gordon, and Muhammad Abdur Rahman each finished second. Travis Popham took third place for the Eagles as well. Ashland will return to the mats December 15th at Newberry in South Carolina. Now we're going to take a short break to catch our breath, but when we come back, we'll be going into the pool to see how the swimmers have fared this season.
Our children want to know everything about the world around them. And yet sometimes what they discover makes them feel vulnerable and insecure. In times like these, they need the comfort of an adult, the honesty of parents, and playtime to help them deal with their feelings and fears. Time that will literally heal their hearts. The gift of imagination allows children to see a better world. Playtime allows them a chance to practice creating it. Don't underestimate the power of play.
But if you complete the journey, you will find your destiny among the world's greatest warriors. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The men's swimming team here at AU has been in action, and they went to Denison last month for a head-to-head duel. The 200 medley relay team and the 400 freestyle relay team were victorious. Eric Hackinson won the 100-yard butterfly. Derek Balo took first in the 500 freestyle, and Jonas Jeffsell won the 100 breaststroke. It was not enough, though, as Denison came away with a 129-103 win. Returning home for the AU invite, the men started well on day one of the 3-day event as Balo won the 500 freestyle. Sean McGraw was first in the 50 freestyle, and he was also part of the 400 medley relay team that placed first. He was joined in that event by Oscar Thomason, Jeff Sell, and Hackinson. The 200 free relay team also won. Chip, the men had the lead after one day. Could they sustain it?
Well, we'll see. The men can look to continue their strong performance through the rest of the weekend. On Friday, Hackinson set a school record in winning the 200 freestyle with a time of 1:40.88. Freshman Brian Warhatch won the 100 butterfly. Sean McGraw was second, and Chewy Vogel rounded out and finished third. Jeff Sell won the 100 breaststroke, and the Eagles captured 2 relay wins in the 200 medley relay and the 800 medley relay. Ashland ended day 2 of the event in first place. Saturday was much of the same for the Eagles as they captured first place in their own invitational. Gannon finished a distant second, while Edinburgh took home third place. Freshman Andy May helped guide the Eagles to victory with a win in the 1650 freestyle. Tomlinson led the field in the 200 backstroke. Jeff Sell had the best time in the 200 breaststroke, and Vogel was first in the 200 butterfly. Ashland finished up the event, taking first place in the 400 freestyle relay. The men's team will take the winter break off before returning to action on January 11th at Gannon.
The women's swimming team is in the thick of their schedule, and they traveled to Denison as well on November 16th. Lizzie Wormer took first in the 400 IM. Allison Morgan won the 100 freestyle. Katie Cheney placed first in the 100 breaststroke, and the 400 freestyle relay team won. Morgan, Wormer, Samantha Roll, and Ashley Shoup made up the winning group. The Lady Eagles lost 141-93, but they looked to bounce back this past weekend as Ashland hosted the AU Invite at the Rec Center. On the first day of the event, the women got off to a strong start. Morgan won the 50 freestyle, and the 200 freestyle and 400 medley relay teams won. Morgan teamed with Janice McCloskey, Jennifer Knight, and Ashley Shoup to win the 200 free event. Morgan led a group featuring Shoup, Emily Morgan, and Amy Bland to touch the wall first in the 400 medley. Chipper, how did the Lady Eagles perform the rest of the weekend?
The Eagles returned the next 2 days to complete the event. On Friday, Allison Morgan won the 100 butterfly and set a school record while doing it at a time of 59.02. Emily Hilgert also took home a first-place finish in the 100 backstroke. Finishing up the placing on day 2 for the Eagles was the 200 medley relay team, which took home the gold. The women's team also ended day 2 of the event with the lead, hoping to seal up the victory on Saturday. The team came back the next day and did exactly that. The Eagles finished in first, with Edinburgh taking second and Gannon finishing up third. Morgan finished up her stellar weekend, taking first place in the 100 freestyle. McCloskey also took gold home, winning the 200 butterfly. Wrapping up the victory for Ashland was the 400 free relay team, which took first as well. Ashland will take an extended break and not get back in the pool again for some competition until January 11th when they travel to Gannon.
Well, that was a fun time.
Yes, it was, but that's all the time we have.
But that can't be, Chip. It just can't be.
But it is, Bob. That's it for this year, for 2007.
But we'll be back next year, right? Please, we'll be back.
Yes, we will. We'll be back right here, January 23rd, 2008.
Well, good then. Thanks to everybody who helped out with the show this semester.
And thanks to you for tuning in.
That's right. Have a nice night.